Hello students, we have come with a new question of 2025 Sociology optional mains paper, paper 1. It's a question number 5B. So let me repeat about myself. I am Praveen Kishore. I've been teaching sociology for more than 25 years. There are many successful students to my credit. In fact, it is not my credit, it is their credit, but I have provided some assistance to them. They attended my classes. I structured their issues, problem. I provided them a strategy to prepare. I did the conceptual clarification. And almost around 400 people are there in bureaucracy in last 25 years. Students having rank 2, rank 3, rank 6, rank 13, rank 15, rank 22. So many ranks have come. There are many students, now bureaucrats, they have joined civil services who attended the rank within top 20. Right now, um, I I was running my own institute, Nice IS, which is I have revived for some time. For 2 3 years, I joined some other institute, but I came back again because I was not satisfied with their ethics, and I started my own institute. But this time, I am jointly organizing with IS Delhi Institute. We'll be taking classes at Old Rajendra Nagar. The classes would be starting from 1st June. We have kept the fee as whatever may be. I should not speak here about the fee. But if you take admission till 30th April, you'll get a discount of 40%, which is a quite heavy discount. So we are doing a series of videos that contains the discussion of the 2025 question papers. Right now we are into first paper discussion. Once first paper discussion is finished, we will be going for the second paper discussion. So you are requested to like and subscribe the channel so that you get the information if any new video comes. Now this question number 5B, that is, does the structural functionalist perspective promote a status quo? Give reason for your answer. There are two words that we have to understand here. One is structural functionalism and second is status quoism. Status quoism. So what is the structural functionalist approach? If you talk about a structural functional approach, it was originally given by Radcliffe Brown. Radcliffe Brown. The formal coining of the term was Radcliffe Brown, but since the beginning of the optional subject of discipline, whether you talk about Auguste Comte, whether you talk about Herbert Spencer, when you talk about Emile Durkheim, later on you talk about Talcott Parsons, Davis and Moore, then Robert King Merton, they all belong to this school of thought in sociology. Robert King Merton is slightly different from his predecessors, right? Radcliffe Brown was a social anthropologist who studied Andaman Islanders, right? And based on this study, he proposed this idea, or what you can say, formally coined the term structural functionalism. Now, when you talk about structural functionalism, right? I am writing in abbreviated form because already I have written in the first slide. Structural functional approach, it is based on what is known as organismic analogy. Organismic analogy. organismic analogy, the meaning is society is treated like any other organism or living being. Living being. Living beings. Now, right now, there are millions and millions, billions of living beings, but right now, we'll just imagine a human being, right? So, society is treated like any other organism. And what you see in organisms like human body, there are different organs. We have heart, we have liver, we have kidney, we have intestine, we have hand, we have legs, we have muscular system, we have nervous system, we have circulatory system, excretory system, uh, skeleton system, right? So these are the different organs, right? And in an organism, what happens? Different organs, they complement each other functions. They are always working in a way for the survival of our life. No organ in any way opposes our life. Means they are not threat to our life. There is no negative consequence on our life. They are always positively contributing in the survival of the organism, right? So two things we said. One thing is that different organs work in consensual manner, they work in complementary manner, they complement each other functions, and their functioning is for the continuity of our life. Now the question is, when everything is fine, when there is no harm of any organ, then definitely there is no meaning of change. Means change is not possible, right? If everything is right for you, then what is the need of the change, right? So structural functional approach is not able to explain change, how the changes come in the society. Now, but it is also a reality that society changes. Society earlier was different, today it is different, tomorrow it will be different. There is no doubt about this changes in society. Since structural functional approach is not able to explain, it fails to explain change, that's why it is said to be status quoist, right? That we talked in this status quo. Does the structural functions perspective promote a status quo? Now, in this, what you find, I'll talk about contributions of two important persons. One is Davis and Moore. Now, first one is Talcott Parsons. Talcott Parsons, right? Talcott Parsons. His academic career started in 1930s when he started teaching sociology. He started writing books also, and his last book was in 1972. So it almost spans around 40 to 45 years. When you look at Talcott Parsons, what he says, that social stratification in a society, in fact, social stratification is a universal phenomenon. It is found in all societies, and this is based on value consensus or shared values. Shared values. Value consensus or shared values means people, members of a society, they come together, they float the idea that this is the way society should be arranged, this should be the structure of society, and this is stratification, and that it will work for the society as a whole, and it will work in favor of each and every strata of the society. So if a particular arrangement is working for the whole society, it is positively contributing in the welfare of the whole society and also positively contributing in the welfare of each strata of society, then naturally there is no need to change it, and therefore it turns out to be status quoist. Similarly, there is another person that is known as Davis and Moore debate. Davis and Moore debate, right? It was in 1945, they had written an article, Some Principles of Stratification. Some Principles of Stratification. Some Principles of Stratification. Right? Actually, their full name is Kingsley Davis and Wilbert Moore. And when you see here, there are two key terms that is being used, that is known as effective role allocation. Effective role allocation and effective role performance. Right? What they argue that in a society there are different roles to be performed, and the roles differ in functional importance, means some roles are more important and some roles are less important. Roles that are more important, they demand more intelligence. Roles which are less important, they demand less intelligence, right? Now naturally, I'm not going in detail of that right now because that will take a lot of time. Now Davis and Moore, so what they said, that each and every role should be allocated, right? And role must not be allocated only, rather roles should be allocated to the person who is able to perform the role best, right? So effective role allocation, roles should be allocated. Effective role performance means allocation of roles should be to the best or ablest person, and during performance of role there should be motivation, that is called as conscientious performance. There should be a motivation to perform their role in proper way to the best of their ability. And because of this prerequisites, because of these requirements of the society which is necessary for the welfare of the society, a social stratification emerges, right? Both Talcott Parsons and Davis and Moore are silent about the social change that takes place in the society or the reality of the social change, right? Talcott Parsons in 1950, he was criticized for this, right? So both were criticized for inability to explain social change in society, right? To address this criticism, Talcott Parsons in 1950s onwards came with his idea of moving equilibrium. Moving equilibrium. What he says, society at a particular instant of time possesses equilibrium, means everything is proper and balanced. But there are factors which are constantly working to disturb this equilibrium. He talked about historical factors, he talked about psychological configuration, he talked about external conditions like our external environment, maybe uh, our weather conditions, like today we talk about shifting of weather conditions, climate change, or exhaustion of certain resources in the society, or discovery of some new source of energy in the society, etc., etc. So there are factors who are constantly working on it, and this, what happens, it destroys, sorry, it's not, it does not destroy, it disturbs the equilibrium. So what he says, that at a particular instant of time there is equilibrium in society. So in abbreviated form I am writing EQB and M, right? The forces like cultural factors or historical factors, better to write historical factors, historical factors, physical factors, then motivational configuration, that is psychological factor, motivational configuration, they are constantly at work, and these factors, they disturb equilibrium, disturb equilibrium, right? Disturb equilibrium. So the balance is disturbed in the society. Now here he talks about a phenomena called homeostasis. In fact, he read a book called The Wisdom of the Body by Canon, Canon. So he studied that book, Wisdom of the Body. And as we know, when our body is attacked by outsider, our immune system responses and tries to bring back our body to the normal position. For example, we talk about viral fever, a virus attacks us. So what happens? We get fever, we get cough, etc. Body system reacts, immune system reacts. And then what happens? After some time, automatically the fever is gone. For example, if you could see the viral fever, whenever you have viral fever, the doctor does not prescribe any medicine. Rather, he gives only paracetamol to keep the temperature in control. That's all. Otherwise, the healing of the body takes place itself. So, there is a inbuilt mechanism in our body that we know as immunity, which deals with any external attack, right? There is always a limitation of theory, but this is there. Similarly, he talks about there is an inbuilt mechanism in society which he calls Walter B. Cannon. Walter B. Cannon. He wrote the book The Wisdom of Body. And in this wisdom of body, he talks about a phenomena called homeostasis. Homeostasis. So it is an inbuilt mechanism to deal with this disturbance, right? And what he said, because of this inbuilt mechanism, a new equilibrium is established. right? Again, these factors are working. Again, equilibrium disturbed, and then again homeostasis comes into playing its role, and again new equilibrium is established, right? So what is happening here? This situation is not same as this situation. That means change is happening. So this particular, the mechanism of homeostasis or simply homeostasis is explaining the social change, and that is by Talcott-Parsons. So what we can say, that it is not that a structural functional approach is completely naive about social change. It is unable to explain social change, because Talcott-Parsons has talked about how the social change takes place in a society with his theory of moving equilibrium. And that was also a question a few years back, short notes, the Talcott-Parsons concept of moving equilibrium, right? You had to write short notes on that, right? Now, this is the details, right, intricacies of this question. If you know this tip, these things, you can write your answer. Definitely, I have explained it. I have explained it in bullet forms. So, you have not got the exact answers. To get the exact answers, you have to do simple thing, and that is you have to join this Telegram channel, that is Nice IS for Sociology. Here you have many answers, and then you can access to these model answers. Thank you.